Hi, guys! Imagine the sound of boots on an endless road, the quiet rhythm of breath and footsteps stretching across a continent. Before highways roared and planes stitched the sky, one man chose to move at the pace of a human heartbeat, trusting his legs, his will, and the horizon ahead. This is a story about distance measured not in miles alone, but in patience, doubt, and hope. If you enjoy slow, immersive stories like this, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. Let me know where you're watching from. Maybe it's late evening in the US, early morning in Europe, or a quiet afternoon somewhere else in the world. And what time it is for you right now. Settle in, loosen your shoulders, let the noise of the day soften. Take a gentle breath, and as you exhale, allow the road to open in your mind. When you're ready, we'll begin. The morning is cool and pale, the kind of dawn that feels unfinished, as if the world is still deciding what sort of day it will become. A thin mist clings to the ground, blurring the edges of fences and fields. The road ahead stretches forward without promise or explanation. It simply exists, patient and waiting. A single step breaks the stillness. Leather meets packed earth. The sound is small, almost shy, yet it carries meaning. This is how long journeys begin, not with drama, but with quiet intention. The body feels light at first, warmed by anticipation rather than effort. Muscles are rested, thoughts are clear. There is room in the chest for optimism. The road moves gently beneath each footfall. Houses thin out, replaced by open land and the soft rustle of morning wind through grass. Somewhere, a bird calls, testing its voice. The walker listens without turning the head, letting sound pass through like a passing cloud. There is no rush. Speed would only steal from the day. As minutes turn into an hour, the body begins to speak in subtle ways. A calf tightens, then relaxes. A shoulder shifts to find comfort. These sensations are not obstacles. They are messages, reminders that this journey will be a conversation between will and flesh. The mind accepts them calmly, storing patience like a quiet reserve. With each step, the familiar fades. The last hint of town slips behind, and the world opens wider. The road does not explain how far it goes. It does not promise ease. It only offers continuity, a line to follow moment by moment. There is comfort in that simplicity. When the path is clear, the task becomes humble. Keep moving. The sun lifts higher, warming the mist until it loosens and drifts away. Light settles on the road, turning it from gray to gold. Hope does not arrive all at once. It seeps in slowly, like warmth through fabric, until it feels natural to believe that today and the many days ahead can be carried one step at a time. The road settles into a steady rhythm, and with it, the mind begins to loosen its grip on sharp thought. The early excitement fades into something quieter, more dependable. Footsteps fall in a gentle pattern. Left, right breath, pause, a soft metronome guiding the hours forward. The landscape drifts by without urgency. Fields open wide, stretching toward distant tree lines that seem closer than they truly are. Fences run alongside the road for a while, then quietly disappear, as if deciding they are no longer needed. The sky grows broader, its pale blue deepening as the sun climbs, and the air warms just enough to be noticed. There is comfort in repetition. With each mile, the body learns the shape of the journey. Muscles warm and lengthen, finding a balance between effort and ease. The feet begin to understand the road, adjusting without conscious command. Blisters have not yet spoken, but their future presence feels inevitable, not feared, just acknowledged, like weather that will come when it comes. Thoughts arrive, then wander away. Memories surface briefly, fragments of past days, familiar rooms, faces once seen often. They do not linger. The road gently pulls attention back to the present, to the sound of wind brushing against clothing, to the soft crunch beneath each step. The past feels far away, and the future too large to hold all at once. Occasionally, a passerby slows, curiosity hanging in the air like an unasked question. A nod is exchanged. No words are needed. The journey is visible enough on its own. When the road returns to quiet, there is relief in the silence, a sense that solitude is not emptiness, but space. As the morning deepens, the sun presses a little heavier on the shoulders. Sweat forms, cool at first, then warming as it dries. The body responds with patience, conserving energy, learning the cost of each movement. There is no prize for speed here. The goal is simply to continue. By the time midday approaches, the miles behind feel both distant and close. They exist not as numbers, but as a gentle fatigue, a pleasant ache that confirms motion. The road ahead remains unchanged, open, waiting, and that constancy brings calm. There is nothing to solve, nothing to decide, except to place one foot forward again. The day grows fuller, heavier, as the sun reaches its steady height. Light pours down without apology, settling on shoulders, back, and hat, pressing warmth into every movement. Shadows shrink beneath the feet, offering little shelter, and the road seems to shimmer slightly ahead, as if testing the eyes. Breath adjusts on its own, becoming slower, deeper. Each inhale carries the scent of dust and dry grass, faintly sweet, faintly sharp. The body understands now that this is not a short walk. It responds by settling into economy, trimming away unnecessary motion, saving strength in small, thoughtful ways. Water becomes a companion of awareness. The weight of the bottle is noticed, then its diminishing heaviness as careful sips are taken. Each swallow is deliberate, cool relief spreading briefly before fading into warmth again. There is gratitude in that small act, a reminder that survival on the road is built from modest, repeated kindnesses. The landscape offers little drama, yet it holds quiet beauty. Fence posts cast short, patient shadows. Insects hum lazily, untroubled by distance or destination. Far off, clouds gather in slow formation, not promising rain, only movement. The world feels vast, but not indifferent, simply uninterested in hurry. Fatigue begins to whisper. Knees feel the miles. Hips ask for attention. These sensations arrive without threat, more like old acquaintances returning after time apart. They are met with acceptance. Stopping too often would steal momentum. Ignoring the body would invite harm. The balance is found by listening, adjusting stride, softening each step. There is a moment somewhere along this stretch when doubt gently taps the mind. Not loudly, not cruelly, just a quiet question. How many days will feel like this? How many roads will look the same? The question is allowed to exist without answer. It drifts away as the road curves slightly, revealing nothing new, and that is enough. When a patch of shade finally appears, cast by a lone tree beside the road, it feels like a gift. The pause beneath it is brief but meaningful. Muscles loosen, the heartbeat slows. For a few breaths, the world narrows to cool air and stillness. Then the road calls again. The shade is left behind without regret. The journey continues, carried forward by patience, by rhythm, and by the quiet understanding that endurance is built not in comfort, but in steady acceptance. The afternoon stretches long and unbroken, like a held breath. The sun no longer climbs, yet it does not soften either. It simply remains, steady and watchful. The road mirrors this feeling, straight, quiet, and seemingly endless, offering no hint of how far the day still has to go. Steps continue, measured and calm. The body now carries the hours within it. There's a deeper weight in the legs, not painful, but undeniable. Each movement asks for cooperation rather than command. The feet land more carefully, choosing smooth patches of earth, avoiding loose stones without conscious thought. Experience is already shaping behavior. Sound becomes sparse. Wind moves through tall grass with a low whisper like distant water. Somewhere far off, a farm machine hums, then fades again into silence. These noises feel far away, belonging to another life that continues alongside the road, separate yet close enough to sense. Thoughts slow. The mind, once busy with planning and reflection, begins to empty itself. There is no need for stories now, no need for memory or anticipation. Attention narrows to simple things: posture, breath, the feel of fabric against skin. Time loses its sharp edges and becomes something softer, easier to carry. There is a lesson hidden in this quiet repetition. The road does not reward impatience. It cannot be hurried or persuaded. When frustration tries to rise, it finds nothing to push against. The only response the road accepts is presence, being here, fully, without argument. A small discomfort in the foot grows noticeable, then steadies. The walker adjusts, loosening the shoe slightly, changing stride just enough. Problems are solved gently, without drama. This too feels like instruction. Attention prevents suffering from becoming damage. As the sun begins its slow descent, the light changes almost imperceptibly. Colors deepen. The air cools by degrees too subtle to measure, yet the body senses relief before the mind does. Shadows stretch again, longer now, reaching across the road like quiet companions. Hope returns in this shift, not as excitement but as reassurance. The day is moving forward. Progress is happening, even when it feels slow. The road remains ahead, but evening is promised, and with it, rest. For now, one step follows another, patient and unafraid. The sun tilts lower, and the world responds in gentle ways. Heat loosens its grip, releasing the shoulders and back from its steady pressure. The air grows softer, carrying the faint scent of earth cooling after a long day. Each breath feels easier now, fuller, as if the lungs themselves are grateful. The road takes on warmer colors, browns and golds, deepening under the slanting light. Shadows stretch across the path, long and thin, crossing the walker's own shadow until they blur together. Time feels less demanding in this hour. The urgency of daylight fades, replaced by a quiet invitation to slow. Fatigue is more honest now. The legs are heavy, and the soles of the feet throb with a dull, persistent ache. Yet this discomfort no longer feels like a warning. It feels earned. The body understands that rest will come, and that understanding brings calm. A distant farmhouse appears, small against the wide land. Smoke drifts lazily from a chimney, rising straight into the evening air. The sight brings a sense of warmth, not just physical, but human. Somewhere ahead there will be a place to stop, a moment to set down the day. Crickets begin their song, tentative at first, then more confident as light continues to fade. Their rhythm blends with footsteps, creating a simple harmony that carries the final miles. The walker listens without effort, letting the sound settle into the mind like a lullaby. When the sun finally touches the horizon, the sky opens into soft shades of orange and pink, then slowly cools toward blue. The road is still there, unchanged, but it feels kinder now, wrapped in evening's calm. Each step forward is slower, but also lighter in spirit. As the day closes, there is a quiet satisfaction in having moved through it. No milestone is marked, no distance is announced. The reward is subtler, the knowledge that the road was met patiently and fully, from morning to night. Twilight settles gently, like a blanket drawn across the land. The sky dims in layers, each shade softer than the last, until colors begin to blur and edges lose their sharpness. The road, once bright and defined, becomes quieter now, a muted ribbon guiding the final steps of the day. The body responds immediately to the change. Muscles loosen with the promise of rest, even as they continue to work. Each step feels heavier, yet calmer, as if effort and peace have found a temporary truce. Breathing slows, sinking naturally with the fading light. A place to stop is chosen not by perfection, but by practicality. A patch of ground near shelter, a space that feels safe and still. When movement finally pauses, the silence feels almost loud. Ears ring gently as they adjust, picking up distant night sounds, insects humming, a breeze moving through unseen leaves, the far-off call of something awake after dark. Sitting brings an immediate rush of sensation. Blood flows back into tired legs, tingling and warm. Shoes are loosened carefully, respectfully, as if acknowledging the miles they have carried. The ground beneath feels solid and reassuring, a quiet partner after a long day of motion. As darkness deepens, the mind drifts into reflection without effort. There is no need to measure progress or plan tomorrow yet. Tonight belongs only to rest. The road waits patiently, as it always will. It does not disappear in the dark, it simply sleeps. Above, stars begin to appear one by one, unhurried. They do not guide or judge, they simply exist, distant and steady. Looking up brings a small sense of humility and comfort, a reminder that this journey is part of something much larger, yet still meaningful in its smallness. Wrapped in stillness, the body finally releases the day. Fatigue becomes softness. Thoughts slow to a gentle hum, then quiet altogether. Tomorrow will bring another morning, another first step. But for now, there is only night, and the deep earned calm it brings. Morning arrives quietly, without announcement. The sky lightens from black to deep blue, then slowly to gray, as if testing the world before fully waking it. Cool air rests on the skin, fresh and clean, carrying the promise of movement once more. The body stirs reluctantly. Muscles protest in low, honest voices, reminding themselves of yesterday's miles. There is stiffness in the legs, a tightness in the back, but beneath it all lies readiness. Rest has done its quiet work. Pain has softened into something manageable, something familiar. Standing takes patience. The first steps of the day are careful, almost ceremonial. Weight shifts slowly from one foot to the other, allowing balance to return. With each movement, warmth spreads, and the body remembers its purpose. The road greets the walker as it did before, unchanged, calm, waiting. Dew glistens along its edges, catching the early light. Grass bends under gentle footsteps, releasing a faint, green scent. Birds begin their morning chorus, tentative at first, then joyful, filling the open space with sound. As the sun peaks above the horizon, it brings with it renewed clarity. Yesterday feels distant, sealed away. Today is fresh and unmarked. The miles ahead are unknown, but they no longer feel intimidating. They feel possible. The pace settles in more quickly this time. There is less eagerness, but more understanding. The body and road know each other now. Each step is placed with quiet confidence, each breath steady and unforced. Morning stretches open, generous and forgiving. The journey continues not because of ambition, but because movement has become natural. The road unfolds once more, patient and enduring, ready to receive another day of footsteps. By late morning, the day finds its balance. The cool freshness of dawn has faded, and the heavier warmth of afternoon has not yet arrived. This in-between hour feels gentle, almost generous, as if the world is offering a small kindness before asking for more. The road continues without ceremony. It does not curve toward excitement or rise into challenge. It simply goes on, mile after mile, steady and honest. This is the long middle of the journey, not the beginning filled with hope, nor the end shaped by relief, but the quiet stretch where commitment is tested. Steps fall into a practiced rhythm now. The body moves without negotiation. Muscles work together smoothly, conserving energy, protecting one another. Discomfort exists, but it no longer demands attention. It has become part of the background, like the hum of wind or the pulse of blood. The mind drifts gently. There is room for observation without analysis. A cloud's slow movement across the sky, the way light shifts across distant hills, the sound of insects rising and falling in waves. These details pass through awareness, leaving calm behind. Occasionally, a thought of distance appears. How far has been walked? How far remains? It lingers briefly, then dissolves. Numbers feel meaningless out here. Progress is measured instead by breath, by the steady strength still present in the legs, by the fact that forward motion continues. There is a subtle courage in this part of the journey. Not the courage of bold decisions, but the quieter kind, the willingness to keep going when nothing changes, when the road offers no novelty or reward. It is here, in this unremarkable stretch, that endurance is shaped. The sun climbs a little higher, the air warms, the road remains, and step by step the journey deepens, carried forward by patience rather than promise. As midday passes, signs of life begin to gather ahead. The road narrows slightly, its edges neater, more deliberate. A cluster of buildings appears in the distance, low and modest, resting quietly under the open sky. A small town, paused in its own rhythm, waits without expectation. Entering feels like crossing an invisible line. The air changes. Sounds become more defined. A door closing somewhere, the soft echo of footsteps on wooden boards, a distant voice carried briefly before fading again. Windows reflect the sun, offering glimpses of still interiors and slow-moving curtains. The pace naturally softens. Feet move more carefully here, respectful of the shared space. There's no hurry to pass through, yet no reason to linger long. The town does not demand attention. It simply exists, calm and self-contained. A store stands open, its door propped wide. Cool air spills out, inviting without persuasion. Stepping inside brings relief, not just from heat, but from exposure. The quiet hum of a refrigerator, the scent of simple goods, the feeling of solid ground beneath still feet. A brief exchange of nods, a few words spoken gently. Curiosity is present, but not pressed. Leaving the town feels gradual, almost unnoticed. Buildings thin out again, replaced by open land and long sightlines. The road resumes its solitary voice, and silence returns like an old friend. There is comfort in this passing, connection without obligation, a reminder that the world is filled with small places and quiet lives, each moving at its own pace, intersecting briefly before drifting apart. As the last house slips behind, the journey continues unchanged, yet subtly enriched. The road stretches forward once more, and footsteps find their rhythm again, carrying both solitude and the faint echo of human presence. Beyond the town, the land opens again, broader than before. The sky feels larger here, an immense bowl of pale blue stretching in every direction. With fewer buildings to interrupt it, the wind moves freely, brushing against skin and clothing with a steady, reassuring touch. The road is quieter now, its surface worn smooth by time and weather. Each step lands with a soft, familiar sound. The body responds with calm efficiency, adjusting naturally to the gentle push of the breeze. There is no resistance, only cooperation. Clouds drift slowly overhead, unhurried and unconcerned. Their shadows slide across fields and road alike, briefly cooling the air before passing on. Watching them feels soothing, like listening to a story without needing to remember the details. Fatigue hums softly in the background. It does not interrupt. It simply reminds the walker to remain mindful, to keep posture relaxed and stride even. Small adjustments are made without thought. A shoulder rolls, a hand loosens, breath deepens slightly. The vastness of the sky invites reflection, but not worry. Problems feel smaller out here, diluted by open space. There is room to breathe, room to continue. The horizon remains distant, yet it no longer feels unreachable. It is simply part of the landscape, moving closer a little at a time. As the afternoon light softens, the road seems to glow faintly, warmed by sun and memory. The journey continues beneath this wide, watchful sky, steady and unbroken, carried forward by quiet resolve. The afternoon deepens, and with it comes a subtle heaviness, not just in the body, but in the hours themselves. The road begins to feel familiar in a way that is both comforting and demanding. Each mile resembles the last, and that sameness asks for patience more than strength. Steps continue, steady but deliberate. The legs move with practiced memory, though each lift and placement now carries a bit more effort. The rhythm remains, but it slows slightly, accommodating fatigue rather than fighting it. There is wisdom in that adjustment. The sun presses gently from above, no longer harsh, but persistent. Heat gathers in layers, on the skin, in clothing, in breath. Sweat forms and dries, leaving behind a faint saltiness. The body accepts this cycle without complaint. It is part of the day, part of the work. Thoughts wander again, but they are quieter now, less curious. The mind is content to rest in repetition, to let awareness drift in and out. There is no need to be entertained. This stretch is about staying present, about honoring the simple act of continuing. Occasionally a flicker of restlessness appears, the desire for something different, something new. It is acknowledged gently, then released. Change will come on its own time. For now the road offers exactly what is needed, even if it feels plain. As shadows begin to lengthen once more, the air cools almost imperceptibly. The body notices first, responding with a small surge of relief. The day is moving forward again, inch by inch, step by step. The road remains steady, unyielding, yet fair. And beneath its quiet demand, there is a deeper gift, the chance to learn endurance not as force, but as acceptance. A soft wind rises as the afternoon loosens its hold. It comes from nowhere in particular, just a gentle movement that brushes past and then stays, cooling the skin and lifting the edge of fatigue. The road feels different under this breeze, less heavy, as if it too is willing to help. Footsteps adjust to the change. The body leans slightly into the wind, finding balance in small, unconscious shifts. Breath deepens, filling more easily now, and each exhale carries away a little of the day's warmth. The simple comfort of moving air feels like quiet encouragement. Light changes again, sliding from bright to amber. Fields glow briefly, then soften. Distant trees darken into calm silhouettes. The world seems to slow alongside the walker, easing toward rest without resistance. There is a familiar tiredness in the legs, but it feels manageable, even friendly. It speaks of honest effort, of time well spent. The mind listens without judgment, responding by shortening stride just enough, conserving what remains. The wind carries faint scents, grass, dust, the promise of night. Crickets begin to tune their evening song one by one until the sound settles into a steady background. The road, still stretching forward, feels less demanding now, more companion than challenge. As the sky prepares for dusk, there's a sense of completion in the air. Not an ending, but a pause. Another day has been met fully, without hurry, without force. The journey continues, held gently by wind, light, and the quiet strength of persistence. Dusk arrives slowly, like a thought easing into place. The sky dims in soft layers, blue fading into gray, then into deeper tones that feel calm rather than dark. The road absorbs the last of the light, its surface cooling beneath tired feet. Movement becomes more intentional now. Each step is placed with care, not from fear, but from awareness. The body knows its limits for the day. Knees bend slightly more, the stride shortens, and balance becomes the quiet focus. There is no frustration in this slowing. It feels natural, even kind. The world grows quieter. Daytime sounds retreat, replaced by the gentle presence of night. Insects take over the air with steady rhythms. Somewhere unseen, an animal moves through brush, then stills. These sounds do not disturb. They settle the mind, reminding it that rest is near. When a place to stop appears, it feels obvious. Not perfect, not planned, just right enough. The road releases its hold as motion comes to an end. Standing still feels strange at first, like stepping off a moving current. Then the stillness deepens and calm spreads through the body. Sitting brings relief that moves slowly but surely. Muscles soften. Breath becomes round and easy. The heat of the day finally leaves the skin, replaced by a coolness that invites rest rather than resistance. As darkness completes its arrival, the mind grows quiet. Thoughts no longer wander far. They settle close, like birds finding branches for the night. The journey pauses here, not finished, only resting. Tomorrow waits somewhere beyond the dark, patient and unchanged. For now, there is only this moment, the gentle closing of another day, fully walked. Night deepens, wrapping the land in stillness. The sky above holds its stars in careful balance, scattered gently across the dark, neither too bright nor too few. Cool air settles around the resting place, carrying the soft scent of grass and distant earth. The body sinks into rest with slow relief. Each muscle releases its hold in stages, as if unwinding from the day one thread at a time. Fatigue no longer presses. It spreads out, becoming something wide and heavy, something that invites sleep rather than resists it. Sounds move through the dark in gentle patterns. Insects continue their steady chorus. A breeze stirs occasionally, whispering through leaves and then passing on. These sounds do not interrupt rest. They deepen it, creating a rhythm that feels ancient and reassuring. The mind drifts in and out of awareness. Thoughts appear briefly, soft and incomplete, then fade before forming into stories. Distance, effort, and time lose their sharpness. What remains is a simple sense of being, here, safe, paused. Sleep arrives gradually, like fog rolling in. It does not demand. It settles, layer by layer, until wakefulness becomes light and thin. The road exists only as a faint idea now, waiting beyond dreams. This quiet between days holds its own meaning. It is where strength is restored, where patience gathers itself again. Without it, the journey could not continue. Morning returns without urgency. Light seeps gently into the dark, thinning it rather than pushing it away. The air is cool and still, holding the quiet of night a little longer, as if reluctant to let it go. Waking is slow and thoughtful. The body checks itself carefully. A stretch here, a shift there, taking inventory of soreness and strength. There is stiffness, yes, but also readiness beneath it. Rest has done its quiet work again, stitching energy back into tired places. Sitting up brings awareness back into focus. Hands feel the texture of the ground. Breath draws in the clean scent of early air. For a moment, there is no road, no distance, no plan. Just presence, complete and unburdened. Standing comes next, unhurried. Weight settles into the feet, and balance returns with patient ease. The first steps are small, almost tentative, but each one smooths the way for the next. Warmth begins to spread through muscles, easing yesterday's tightness into something workable. The road reappears as the light grows. Dew glistens along its edges, catching the soft glow of morning. Birds greet the day with gentle certainty, their calls layering into a calm, welcoming sound. The world feels open again, forgiving and wide. Movement resumes not from obligation, but from acceptance. This is simply what happens next. One step forward, then another. The journey continues, shaped by patience, carried quietly into a new day. As the morning unfolds, the road seems to recognize the walker. Its surface feels familiar beneath the feet, the subtle rises and dips already known before they appear. There is a quiet trust now, built from days of shared movement, from the understanding that neither will surprise the other. The air warms slowly, carrying the promise of another long stretch ahead. Sunlight filters through thin clouds, softening its touch. Shadows move lazily across the path, never staying long, never asking to be followed. The body moves with less resistance than before. Muscles, once hesitant in the early days, now respond smoothly, as if they have learned the language of distance. There is still effort, still the gentle ache that marks each mile. But it no longer feels foreign. It feels earned, expected. Thoughts drift in a calm, unstructured way. There is no need to direct them. Some pass through as memories of earlier miles. Others arrive as quiet observations, the shape of a tree, the sound of wind against open land. Each thought leaves without asking to be held. A sense of continuity settles in. Yesterday leads into today, and today will lead into tomorrow, all connected by this same steady path. The journey no longer feels like a series of separate days, but one long, unbroken movement across time and space. The road stretches forward, patient as ever. It holds the weight of footsteps without complaint, offering only itself in return. And that is enough. Step by step, the journey continues, guided by rhythm, memory, and the quiet certainty of motion. Somewhere in the late morning, distance begins to feel different. Miles no longer arrive as clear markers. They soften, blending into one another until the idea of how far loses its edges. The road is no longer counted, it is simply experienced. The body settles deeper into rhythm. Breath and movement align so naturally that effort seems to fade behind sensation. Legs lift and fall with quiet reliability. Arms swing lightly at the sides, not for balance anymore, but out of habit, like a gentle pendulum keeping time. The landscape passes in slow layers. A field gives way to trees. Trees thin into open ground again. None of it demands attention, yet all of it is noticed. Colors feel muted, restful. Sounds arrive softly, then move on. Nothing interrupts the calm. There is a peaceful emptiness in the mind now, not absence, but spaciousness. Worries have no place to land. Plans feel unnecessary. The present moment stretches wide enough to hold everything that matters. Even fatigue feels distant, reduced to a low hum rather than a weight. The body knows how to carry it. It has learned that tiredness does not mean stopping. It simply means continuing gently. The road remains ahead, unchanged and steady. And in this softened sense of time and distance, the journey becomes less about crossing a continent and more about inhabiting each quiet step along the way. The day eases toward its middle, and with it comes a subtle challenge. Not a hill steep enough to demand notice, nor heat sharp enough to command complaint, just a long, quiet stretch where effort becomes visible again. The road asks softly, "Are you still here?" Steps slow by a fraction. The body answers without words. Muscles tighten briefly, then settle. Breath deepens, finding room beneath the ribs. There is no push, no force. The response is simply to keep moving, to let steadiness speak for itself. The sun hovers high, filtered through thin clouds that soften its warmth. Light falls evenly across the land, leaving no shadows deep enough to hide in. Everything feels exposed, honest. The road offers nothing extra, and nothing is taken away. A small ache returns in the hips, then fades as posture adjusts. Hands loosen, the jaw unclenches. These are tiny negotiations, almost invisible, yet they matter. Endurance is built from such quiet agreements with the body. There is a sense here of being tested not for strength, but for kindness, the ability to continue without judgment, without impatience. The road does not reward effort immediately. It asks for trust instead, and trust is given step by step. The landscape remains calm. The sky remains wide. The journey continues, not triumphant, not strained, simply ongoing, carried forward by gentle resolve. Early afternoon brings a small interruption, the kind that arrives quietly and leaves a lasting warmth. The sound of an approaching vehicle grows, then slows. Tires soften against the road. An engine idles nearby, patient and unintrusive. A brief exchange follows. Simple words offered without urgency. A nod, a smile. Perhaps a bottle of water extended, cool and heavy with condensation. The moment is short, but it carries weight. Kindness, when it appears unexpectedly, has a way of settling deep. The water is accepted with gratitude, sipped slowly, respectfully. Coolness spreads through the body, easing heat and fatigue alike. For a moment, the journey feels shared, no longer entirely solitary. Then the vehicle moves on, sound fading into distance, and quiet returns. The road feels different afterward. Not changed exactly, just softened. The reminder lingers that even in long stretches of solitude, connection is never entirely absent. It exists in brief crossings, in gestures offered without expectation. Steps resume with renewed calm. The body feels steadier, the mind lighter. The afternoon continues to unfold, carrying both effort and ease in careful balance. The horizon remains open, the road stretches on. And with each step forward, the journey holds not only distance, but the quiet accumulation of human moments along the way. The hours stretch again, gently but insistently, as the afternoon settles into its longest shape. Light becomes steady and even, no longer shifting quickly. Time feels wide here, like a calm river moving without urgency. Footsteps continue, measured and patient. The body carries a familiar tiredness now, one that has learned its place. It does not ask to stop. It only asks to be treated carefully. The stride shortens slightly, conserving strength without breaking rhythm. The road hums softly beneath each step, warmed by sun and memory. Heat lingers, but it is no longer heavy. A breeze drifts through now and then, just enough to remind the skin that relief exists. Each breath feels balanced, not rushed, not shallow. Thoughts move slowly, like clouds reluctant to change shape. There is space for reflection without pressure. The journey feels less like something being done and more like something being lived. The road is no longer an object to conquer. It is a companion, steady and familiar. The land offers subtle variations, a gentle rise, a shallow dip, a bend that reveals more of the same open distance. None of it demands attention, yet all of it contributes to the sense of forward motion. Progress continues quietly, almost unnoticed. As the sun begins its gradual descent, there is a soft reassurance in the light. Another day is moving toward completion. Another portion of the journey is being laid gently behind. The road remains ahead, unchanged and patient. And step by step the walk continues, carried by endurance that has learned to breathe slowly and trust the passing hours. Late afternoon brings a subtle shift, almost too gentle to notice at first. Shadows lengthen and begin to lean across the road, stretching like quiet companions that walk alongside. The light softens, losing its sharp edges, and the air grows kinder with every passing minute. The body senses the change before the mind names it. Shoulders relax. Breath deepens without effort. Each step feels a little lighter, as if the day itself is easing its hold. Fatigue is still present, but it has mellowed, settling into the background like a familiar tune. The road curves slightly here, not enough to surprise, just enough to alter the view. Fields open wider on one side, while a thin line of trees gathers on the other, their leaves whispering softly in the breeze. The sound is calming, steady, like waves against a distant shore. There is a growing awareness of evening ahead, not urgency, just acknowledgement. The body begins to pace itself more carefully, conserving what remains, moving with quiet intelligence shaped by days of repetition. Thoughts slow again, returning to simple observations. The feel of air against skin, the warmth still held in the ground, the gentle swing of arms keeping time. Nothing presses for attention. Everything is allowed to be as it is. As the sun lowers further, the road takes on warmer hues, glowing softly beneath tired feet. Another day is leaning toward rest. Another stretch of distance is being folded gently into memory. The journey continues, calm and unforced, carried forward by patience and the quiet promise of evening. The light shifts toward gold and the world responds in hushed agreement. Colors deepen, edges soften. The road, once bright and open, now feels wrapped in a warmer, calmer tone. Evening is close enough to be felt in the skin. Steps slow, just slightly, not from weakness, but from wisdom. The body recognizes the nearness of rest and begins to protect itself gently. Knees bend with care. The spine stays tall but relaxed. Breath moves evenly, no longer hurried by the day's demands. A quiet place to stop becomes part of awareness now, not sought urgently, just noticed as the land passes. A stand of trees offering shelter, a low rise breaking the wind. These possibilities drift through the mind without urgency. Sounds gather softly. Crickets begin their evening song once more. The wind lowers its voice. Even distant noises seem to retreat, making space for night to arrive fully. Fatigue settles deeper, but it is not heavy. It feels like a blanket being drawn up slowly, inviting stillness. There is gratitude in this feeling, for the body that carried another day, for the road that allowed passage, for the calm that now approaches. As the sun sinks closer to the horizon, the journey eases toward pause. Another day nears its close, shaped by steady movement and quiet resolve. The sun finally lowers itself toward the horizon, moving slowly, as if reluctant to leave. Light spills across the land in long, gentle strokes, touching the road one last time before fading. The air cools enough to be noticed, slipping softly around tired arms and neck, easing the warmth that lingered all afternoon. Each step now carries the weight of a full day, yet there is peace in that weight. The body no longer resists fatigue. It accepts it, working with it, moving carefully and with intention. Muscles feel full and warm, like they have been used for exactly what they were meant to do. The road grows quieter with every passing minute. Colors soften into dusky blues and muted browns. Details blur, no longer asking to be seen clearly. The world seems to exhale, releasing the tension of daylight. When movement finally slows to a stop, stillness arrives gently. Standing still feels almost unfamiliar after so many hours of motion. Then the body settles, and calm spreads outward, filling the space where effort once lived. Sitting brings relief that moves slowly but deeply. Shoes are loosened again, feet grateful for the simple kindness. Breath evens out, long and unbroken. The day, with all its miles and moments, begins to slip quietly into memory. Night gathers without haste. Stars wait just beyond the darkening sky. Tomorrow is already forming somewhere beyond sight, but it does not need attention yet. For now the road rests, and so does the one who walks it. Darkness settles fully now, not abruptly, but with a steady confidence. The sky deepens into a soft, endless black, and stars emerge one by one, scattered gently as if placed with care. The road disappears into shadow, but its presence is still felt, a quiet line resting beneath the night. The body sinks into rest more easily this time. Fatigue spreads out, losing its sharpness, becoming something wide and heavy that presses gently rather than painfully. Each muscle releases in stages, unwinding from the long day's work. Breath slows, finding a deep, steady rhythm. Night sounds fill the space left by daylight. Insects hum in layered patterns. A breeze moves through grass and leaves, whispering without words. These sounds do not demand attention. They cradle it, guiding the mind toward stillness. Thoughts drift like distant lights, appearing briefly before fading. Miles walked today feel both real and unreal, carried in the body, but no longer measured or counted. What remains is the quiet knowledge that movement happened, that the road was met fully again. Sleep approaches gradually, not as an ending, but as a pause. The journey continues even here, carried inward now, stitched into rest and renewal. The night holds the miles gently, keeping them safe until morning returns. There is a moment in the night when everything feels perfectly balanced, not asleep, not awake. The air is cool but not cold. The sounds are steady, unchanging. Time seems to hold its breath. The body rests deeply here. Muscles are quiet. Joints feel loose and unburdened. The miles carried yesterday no longer press. They lie folded somewhere beneath the surface, waiting without urgency. Breath moves slowly, evenly, as if guided by the dark itself. Above, the stars continue their silent watch. They feel closer now, sharper against the black sky. There is comfort in their constancy, in the sense that while one body rests beside a long road, the larger world remains calm and ordered. The mind stirs only slightly. A thought of morning appears, then drifts away. There is no need to prepare yet. The road will still be there. The light will return on its own. Everything knows when to begin again. Gradually, almost imperceptibly, the darkness begins to thin, not with color, but with softness. The edge of night loosens. The air changes, just enough to be felt in a deeper breath. This quiet hour holds a special kind of strength. It is where recovery finishes its work, where patience refills itself. When movement begins again, it will rise from the stillness, calm and unforced. For now the journey rests inside the silence, waiting gently for the first hint of dawn. The first light arrives without sound. It seeps into the dark like a slow tide, lifting the edges of night rather than pushing them away. Shapes return gradually, the line of the road, the soft rise of land, the familiar horizon waiting ahead. The body wakes gently, almost on its own. There is no jolt, no urgency, just a quiet awareness returning, limb by limb, breath by breath. Stiffness is present, but it feels lighter now, tempered by rest and expectation. Sitting up brings the cool air into the lungs. It smells clean, untouched by the day to come. For a moment, there is only this: light growing, breath steady, the simple privilege of being here. Standing is careful and patient. Weight settles into the feet, and balance returns like an old friend. The first step is slow, deliberate. The second comes more easily. Movement awakens warmth, easing tightness with every gentle stride. The road greets the day calmly. Dew clings to its edges, catching the pale light and turning it into quiet sparkle. Birds begin their morning songs, soft at first, then layering into a gentle chorus that fills the open space. As the sun lifts higher, confidence returns to the body. The pace finds itself again. Yesterday feels distant now, folded neatly behind. Today opens forward, unmarked and possible. The journey continues, carried into morning by patience, by rhythm, and by the quiet certainty that the road will always meet each step halfway. As the morning settles into itself, effort returns in a way that feels expected rather than demanding. The body warms fully now, muscles awake and responsive, carrying a gentle reminder that distance is real and movement has cost. Yet there is no resistance to it. Effort has become familiar, almost welcome. The road stretches ahead with quiet confidence. Its surface bears the marks of weather and time, small cracks and softened edges that speak of endurance. Each step meets it calmly, neither rushed nor hesitant, as if both understand the pace that works best. Breath finds a steady pattern. Inhale, exhale. The rhythm holds without thought, allowing the mind to drift lightly. There is room to notice the way sunlight falls across the land, how it catches on leaves and lifts the morning air into warmth. Fatigue hums again, low and constant, but it no longer distracts. It feels like part of the motion itself, inseparable from forward progress. The body knows how to carry it now, how to adjust when needed, how to keep going without strain. There is a quiet confidence here built not from speed or distance, but from repetition. Day after day, step after step, the journey proves itself possible again and again. That knowledge settles deep, steady and reassuring. The road continues, the sky remains wide, and beneath it all the familiar effort carries the walk forward, calm and unbroken. By midday the world smooths itself out. The sun stands high, but softened by thin air and open space. Light spreads evenly across the land, leaving no sharp contrasts, no urgency. Everything feels rounded, complete, as if the day has found its balance. The body moves steadily through this gentle fullness. There is effort, yes, but it flows rather than presses. Muscles work in quiet cooperation. The feet know the road well now, meeting it with confidence shaped by countless steps before this one. Hunger appears softly, not as demand, but as awareness. A pause brings simple nourishment, taken slowly, thoughtfully. Each bite restores a little strength. Each swallow a small promise that the body will be cared for as faithfully as it is asked to work. The road continues without ceremony. Fields shimmer faintly in the light. The sky holds its blue without drama. Sounds are muted. Wind, insects, distant movement, blending into a calm background that asks nothing. Thoughts drift lazily. There is no need to organize them. The mind rests inside the rhythm of motion, content to observe without comment. Time passes without announcement, carried forward by the steady act of walking. In this edgeless hour, the journey feels especially gentle, not easy, not difficult, simply ongoing. The road remains open, the pace remains kind, and step by step the walk continues calm and unforced. As the day eases past its highest point, the afternoon begins to soften. The light, once broad and even, grows warmer, leaning gently toward gold. The air shifts almost imperceptibly, cooling in places the sun no longer holds. The road seems to sense this change, offering a subtle kindness beneath tired feet. Movement continues with calm intention. The body feels used but not spent. There is a deeper awareness now of posture, of balance, of how much energy remains and how carefully it must be carried. Each step is placed with respect, neither rushed nor delayed. The land opens again into long, quiet stretches. Fences run alongside the road, then fall away. Trees appear in small gatherings, offering brief patches of shade before releasing the walker back into light. These moments feel like small gifts, accepted gratefully and left without regret. thoughts turn inward, not toward worry, but toward understanding. The journey has taught patience without speaking it aloud. It has shown that progress does not always announce itself, and that steady movement, even when unnoticed, carries its own quiet power. Fatigue deepens, but it feels different now, less like weight, more like texture. The body knows how to move within it, how to soften around it. Breath remains steady, calm, and reliable, guiding motion forward. The afternoon stretches on, peaceful and unhurried. The road remains ahead, unchanged and waiting. And within this quiet promise of passing time, the journey continues, held gently by persistence and calm resolve. The sun begins its slow descent, almost unnoticed at first. Light tilts, and the road responds by changing color, deepening into softer shades that feel calm and familiar. The day exhales, releasing the tension it carried without ever showing it. Steps grow quieter, not fewer, just softer, more careful. The body recognizes this hour and adjusts instinctively. Shoulders lower, hands relax. Breath settles into a deeper, slower rhythm that feels protective, as if saving a little warmth for the night ahead. The land offers subtle signs of evening. Birds shift their calls. Insects prepare their steady chorus. A faint coolness brushes the skin, gentle enough to soothe without startling. These changes arrive like whispers, each one confirming that time is moving kindly forward. Fatigue is present now in full, but it no longer feels heavy. It feels complete, the kind that comes from honest effort, from hours spent moving with intention. The body holds it calmly, knowing rest is approaching again. The road stretches onward, still patient, still open. It has carried another full day of footsteps and remains unchanged by them, yet somehow shaped by each one. There is comfort in that, in knowing that persistence leaves its mark, even when it is invisible. As evening draws nearer, the journey eases into its familiar closing rhythm. Another day is being gathered gently behind, and the road continues to wait ahead, ready for whatever comes next. The sun hangs low now, resting just above the horizon. Its light stretches long and thin, painting the road and fields in warm amber tones. Shadows extend like quiet companions, walking alongside without asking to be noticed. The body moves with deliberate care. Each step is thoughtful, conserving what remains of the day's strength. Knees bend softly, feet land gently, as if the ground itself deserves kindness after carrying so many miles. The air cools enough to bring relief. Skin breathes easier. The steady warmth of the day loosens its hold, replaced by a calm that feels almost ceremonial. Evening is arriving exactly as it should. Sounds deepen. Crickets tune their rhythm. Birds quiet themselves for the night. The wind lowers its voice. Together these changes create a sense of closure, a natural ending to another long stretch of motion. The road glows briefly under the lowering sun, then darkens again as light fades. There is no sadness in this change, only acceptance. The day has given what it can, and now it is time to rest. As movement continues through this final light, there is gratitude for the body that carried the distance, for the road that allowed it, for the calm that wraps gently around both. Dusk settles fully, smoothing the edges of the world. Colors retreat into softer shades, and the road becomes a quiet outline rather than a clear path. Movement slows naturally, guided by instinct more than sight. The body knows when it is time to stop. A place to pause reveals itself gently, not chosen for beauty or comfort, but for the feeling it offers. Still, sheltered, calm enough to hold the night. When motion finally ends, the silence feels deep and welcoming, like a door closing softly behind the day. Standing still brings a wave of sensation. Legs hum with warmth, feet ache in a dull, honest way. Breath steadies as the body transitions from movement to rest. Each moment of stillness settles the fatigue further, letting it spread out and soften. Sitting comes slowly. The ground feels firm and dependable beneath tired muscles. Shoes are loosened again with care and gratitude. The simple act feels ritual-like now, a familiar signal that effort can be released. Night sounds rise around the pause. Insects, distant rustling, the quiet presence of air moving through grass. These sounds do not interrupt rest. They deepen it, weaving a gentle fabric of calm. As darkness completes its hold, the journey folds inward. The road remains unseen but certain, waiting patiently beyond the edge of rest. Another day has been carried fully, step by step, and now it is laid down. Night settles in fully now, confident and unhurried. Darkness presses gently against the land, not heavy, not threatening, just complete. The sky stretches wide overhead, stars scattered softly like distant lanterns, steady and calm. The body eases deeper into rest. Muscles loosen one by one, releasing the quiet tension they carried all day. Fatigue no longer feels like weight. It becomes warmth, spreading evenly, inviting stillness rather than resisting it. Breath slows until it feels almost separate from thought. Sounds move through the dark in calm layers. Insects hold their steady rhythm. Somewhere far away, an animal shifts and then becomes still again. The breeze passes lightly, cool and reassuring, then fades. Nothing demands attention. Everything simply exists. Thoughts arrive briefly, then drift away unfinished. The road, the miles, the hours of movement, they blur into a gentle impression rather than a clear memory. What remains is a sense of having been present, of having moved honestly through the day. Sleep approaches without force. It does not pull or push. It settles like a soft tide, lifting awareness and carrying it inward. The journey pauses here, not ending, only resting, held quietly within the long breath of night. There is a depth to the night now, a calm so complete it feels like the world has paused to listen to itself. Darkness is no longer something that surrounds. It becomes something that holds. The air is cool and steady, resting gently against the skin, neither inviting movement nor resisting it. The body lies quiet, fully surrendered to rest. Muscles are loose and heavy in the most comforting way. Every ache has softened, blurred into warmth. Breath moves slowly, evenly, rising and falling without effort, as if guided by the rhythm of the earth itself. Time loses its structure here. Minutes and hours no longer separate themselves. There is only a long, continuous stillness, peaceful and unbroken. Even thought feels unnecessary. When it appears, it dissolves almost immediately, like mist touched by moonlight. Above, the stars remain patient and unchanged. They seem closer in this hour, not because they have moved, but because everything else has grown quiet enough to notice them. Their presence brings a subtle reassurance, a reminder that while one journey rests, countless others continue silently through the dark. The road exists only as memory now, not as distance or direction, but as a feeling, a quiet line of persistence waiting beyond sleep. It does not demand attention. It trusts that morning will come. And somewhere beneath this stillness, beneath the calm weight of rest, readiness begins to gather again. Not urgency, not ambition, just the quiet strength that forms when the body and mind are allowed to be completely still. Before light is fully seen, it is felt. The air shifts first, thinning slightly, carrying a quiet freshness that signals change. Night loosens its hold without resistance, allowing the world to prepare itself gently for another beginning. The body stirs in small ways. A deeper breath, a subtle stretch. Awareness returns softly, like a familiar presence stepping back into the room. Rest has done its work again, smoothing sharp edges, restoring what was spent. Fatigue remains, but it has transformed into readiness. As the sky lightens from black to deep blue, shapes return slowly. The outline of the road reappears, patient and unchanged. It looks no closer, no farther than before, simply present, waiting as it always does. Standing comes with care, but without hesitation. Weight settles into the feet. Balance finds itself easily now. The first step feels familiar, grounded, as if the body remembers exactly how to begin again. Birdsong lifts into the air, tentative at first, then steady. The sound spreads across the open space, filling it with gentle certainty. Morning is here, not rushing, not demanding, simply arriving. Movement resumes with quiet confidence. The journey continues not because it must, but because it can. One step leads into another, and the road opens forward once more, calm and accepting. Morning settles into a calm steadiness, neither new nor old, simply present. The light is soft now, spread evenly across the land, revealing the road exactly as it has always been. It looks no closer to an end, no farther from a beginning. It just waits. Steps fall into place without thought. The body moves as if guided by memory rather than intention. Muscles engage smoothly, breath finding its rhythm with quiet ease. There is effort, but it no longer announces itself. It lives gently inside the motion. The landscape unfolds with familiar grace. Fields stretch wide, holding the light. Trees stand patiently along the edges, their leaves stirring just enough to be heard. The sky remains open and generous, offering space rather than direction. There is a sense now of deep familiarity, not boredom, not repetition, something calmer, the understanding that this is what the journey is made of. Ordinary hours, steady movement, quiet resolve carried forward without ceremony. Thoughts remain simple. There is no need to measure progress or imagine the far distance ahead. The present moment holds enough. Each step arrives, is placed, and then becomes the past, leaving space for the next. The road continues unchanged, and so does the walk. Together they move forward, not striving, not resisting, simply continuing, held by patience and the calm certainty of persistence. As the morning lengthens, something subtle shifts inside the movement itself. Effort is still there, steady and real, but it no longer needs to be watched. The body carries it automatically now, like a well-learned skill. There is trust in muscles, in breath, in the quiet intelligence built from days of repetition. Footsteps sound softer, almost blended into the world around them. The road accepts each one without comment. The rhythm holds, calm and reliable, allowing the mind to rest inside it. Nothing needs to be adjusted. Nothing needs to be proven. The air warms gently, never rushing. Light settles on the land in a way that feels settled too, as if the day has decided exactly what it wants to be. The sky remains wide and open, offering no urgency, only space. Thoughts drift through lightly, like leaves on slow water. There is awareness without effort, the feel of movement, the quiet strength still present, the simple fact of continuing. Doubt does not appear here. It has no place in this steady flow. Fatigue exists, but it is trusted as well. It is no longer feared or resisted. It is simply information carried alongside patience. The body knows how far it can go today, and it will speak when it needs care. The road stretches on, unchanged, dependable. And within this calm trust, the journey feels less like a challenge and more like a conversation, one that continues step by step without strain, without hurry. By late morning, the day settles into a quiet confidence. The light is clear but gentle, resting evenly on the road and the land around it. Nothing presses forward, nothing falls behind. Time feels held in balance, as if the hours themselves have learned how to walk. The body moves with calm assurance. Each step is placed without hesitation, guided by habit and trust rather than thought. Breath flows smoothly, deep and unforced. Muscles work together in a familiar harmony, carrying the distance without complaint. The road offers small variations, a shallow rise, a subtle bend, enough to keep attention awake, not enough to demand effort. The landscape responds in kind, opening and closing softly, fields giving way to trees, and then back again. Everything feels cooperative. There is a sense now of being carried by the journey rather than carrying it. The mind rests inside the rhythm, alert but unburdened. But concerns have thinned into quiet awareness. Purpose no longer needs explanation. Movement itself is enough. Even fatigue feels steady here, like a low current beneath the surface. It does not pull or push. It simply exists, reminding the body to remain gentle, to continue with care. That reminder is accepted without resistance. The day holds steady, and so does the walk. Forward motion continues, calm and uninterrupted, shaped by patience that has learned how to last. There comes a point when the journey begins to feel close to something, even when nothing visible has changed. The road looks the same, the horizon keeps its distance. And yet, beneath the steady movement, a quiet awareness grows, not of an ending, but of meaning gathering itself. The body moves with a softened strength now. Effort is present, but it feels settled, well distributed, as if no single muscle carries too much. Breath remains deep and calm. Each step lands gently, confident in its place. The world seems to listen more closely in this hour. Wind passes without disturbance. Light rests easily on the land. Sounds arrive muted and respectful, as if not wanting to interrupt the rhythm that has formed. Everything feels aligned, balanced between motion and rest. Thoughts slow further, becoming more reflective than curious. The journey no longer feels like something being accomplished. It feels like something being inhabited. Each mile carries the weight of all the miles before it, and yet remains light enough to accept. There is gratitude here, quiet and steady, for the body that endured, for the road that allowed passage, for the patience that grew without being forced. These feelings do not overwhelm. They settle softly, becoming part of the walk itself. The road continues forward, unchanged and faithful. And within this calm closeness, to purpose, to self, to persistence, the journey prepares itself for its final unfolding. The road continues as it always has, stretching calmly beneath an open sky. There is no clear marker to announce completion, no sudden change in the land to declare that something has been finished. And yet, something within has quietly shifted. Movement now feels lighter, not because the body is less tired, but because the weight of expectation has fallen away. Each step is no longer taken to reach a destination alone, but to honor the act of walking itself. The rhythm that once had to be learned now lives naturally in the body, steady and unforced. The air moves gently, neither warm nor cool, resting perfectly between effort and ease. Breath flows in deep, even cycles. Muscles work without protest. Fatigue remains, but it feels like a companion rather than a burden. Proof of distance traveled, of days met fully and honestly. The road no longer feels like something separate. It feels shared. Every mile has offered patience. Every hour has taught restraint, acceptance, and quiet strength. What began as a challenge has softened into understanding that progress does not need to be loud to be real. Looking ahead, the horizon remains open. Looking back, the miles dissolve into memory, not as numbers, but as sensations. Morning light, evening wind, steady footsteps, long silence. The journey has woven itself into being, and so the walking continues, not because there is more to prove, but because movement has become meaning, one step, then another, calm and complete. Thank you for walking this long road with me. I hope the steady rhythm of the journey has helped your thoughts slow, your breathing soften, and your body feel a little more at ease. Wherever you are, resting, drifting towards sleep, or simply taking a quiet moment, may this calm stay with you. If you enjoyed this story, please remember to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Let me know where you're listening from and what time it is for you, whether it's late night in the U.S., early morning in Europe, or somewhere else in the world. Now, allow yourself to rest. The road will always be there. Tonight, you don't need to walk it.